Hey there, welcome to the show. It's Les Sulgrove, Simply Des Moines. This is the weekly market update for Des Moines and Central Iowa. It is Sunday, November 5th, and today's show is the end of month review for the month of October. So we're going to jump right in. In fact, I'm not even going to touch on the hot sheets this week. You can see those at the show graphics, which I'll show you at the end, all the graphics you can see. It's going to be a little different show this week. This month, I'm going to focus the show basically around this graphic. This is the 2023 October listing activity status by different categories. And we're going to go down through listings, pending sales, increases, reductions, and back on markets. We'll leave the last three alone, but we're going to basically drive the show from this graphic. So let's start right away here with new listings. And you can see for the month of October, we hit 871 homes were added to the MLS. These are that's a pretty good number, and you know, I can always show you how it compares to last year, but what I decided to do this week was dig a little bit deeper on these next graphics and kind of show you how they appeared versus the last several years. So going back to 2016, there's that 871 on the far left there. That shows you how many homes we have we brought into the MLS or into the market for the month of October. Now, this is just looking for the month of October only, going back over the past several years, back to 2016. And I thought it was kind of interesting. You know, it seems like, you know, our inventory is growing and things like that, but it's, well, we'll see exactly why here in a minute when we get into the sale pendings. But we're not too far behind the same pace of adding listings to the market that we were last year. Frankly, I thought we would have been ahead of that, but the market is just different. We're really more on pace with 2021, you know, where we had 854. But you get back prior to the COVID years, 2019, we had almost 1,200 listings added to the MLS in the month of October back in 2019. And you know, it seems just kind of crazy to think that, you know, the market has changed that much. Although with inventory rising, you would kind of naturally expect this number to be higher, but it's not. So you can see this goes all the way back to 2016, where we had 700, just almost 750 homes added to the market in the month of October. So, you know, we're really on target really with 2017, maybe, you know, you can compare it kind of to last year and the year before as well, but the one we're most similar to is probably 2017 there. So as far as pricing goes as well for that month there, you can see that the median list price this year is $358,245 versus $349,990, which isn't too terribly far off from last year, but we've seen that median list price grow from 2019's low here on this set of graphics at 254.9 all the way up to that 358. So we're at the highest point in the median list price that we've seen in the last, well, 4 years prior. So during this last 5-year period, we're at the highest point on median list price with lower inventory. And so that's just kind of a number we'll kind of keep an eye on as we move out through the end of the year here as well. If we go down here to the sale pendings now, back to that original graphic, 896, and this is where it is on the far left. You can see that we're 896 sale pendings this year, and we are just almost spot on with the same number of homes going under, not going under contract, but having the number of homes under contract within the month of 902 for 2022. But boy, look at the differences there from 2020 and 21. Now those are the two big years where COVID was really hitting, but 2019 we were actually doing pretty well as well. You know, just over 1,000, almost 1,100 homes were in the sale pending process, and that's down from 2018. 2018 really was comparable to the two COVID years as far as the number of homes in the sale pending status for that month. So just, you know, the number of homes in sale pending are way down. And so that's really kind of why we're seeing our inventory build is, you know, we bring in listings, but they're just not going under contract. And that's what's kind of causing that to happen there. Closed sales, third one down, 882 closed sales in the month of October versus 1,080 just a year ago, so a couple hundred less. 1480, 1502 back to 2020. By far, this is our lowest closing October that we've seen going back at least to 2016. That's kind of when I've started tracking this data. So all prior years to that, we were at least plus 1,000, if not 1,100 or more homes closed in the month of October. And so at 882, it's a pretty low number that we're seeing there. Price wise, 278.4. Even with that low number of homes being closed during the month, we are still seeing a pretty good jump in pricing yet this year. 278.4, and it was kind of surprised me when I looked at 22 and 2021 that both of those years in the month of October were identical at 260. That I would have thought that we would have maybe seen those prices either continuing to be rising or not, but I just don't know what I would expecting to see there. I didn't expect them to be equal, I guess. 2018 was really the year that pricing kind of started to go up a little bit. 2016, you can see it was 178.5. We had a pretty good jump there in 2017, but then it kind of came back down in 2018, 2019, and then of course COVID hit and our prices have just taken off. Now it's natural to see, obviously pricing increasing along the way, but at that 278.4, it's certainly not, as much as it could be based on what we've seen with pricing. But 278.4 is a pretty good number still for this month. And as far as the number of closed sales, since we're talking about closings, the end of October, we were at 11,160 versus, almost 13,500 and 14,500 the last 2 years. And again, we're still right on track to close right around at 13,000, a little over 13,000 is where I'm predicting that at. So the last category has three sections in it: price increases, reductions, and back on market. And this is kind of interesting. Boy, look at that. 1,600 price reductions for the month of October this year, and 106 price increases. And I really kind of wanted to see how that compares going back to previous years. Let's look first at price increases. 106 price increases for the month of October this year. And that's really not too far off from really last year. Yeah, we had 152 the previous year, but boy, 2020 was the year that pricing really jumped, and a lot of that was due to supply issues and the material costs just going up during the pandemic. If you take out the COVID years, we're really pretty much right on track with 2017, 18, and 19. You notice 2016 does not show any data. In fact, none of the graphics I'm going to show you next have any data for 2016 because that's just where I hadn't started collecting that. I didn't start that until 2017. So as far as price reductions, remember we had that 1,600. I thought, man, that's really going to be high compared to previous years, but it's only about 300 less than 300 price reductions versus 2022. Obviously, during the COVID year, the pandemic years of 21 and 20, we weren't seeing a lot of price reductions. But honestly, if you go back and you look at 2019, we are actually behind the number of price reductions prior to COVID. So this just tells me we're kind of coming back into, the more normal times, if you want to call them normal times. I don't know. But you can see that the reductions were starting to increase as we were starting to hit 2019, which of course was going to be the year that, and early 2020 was going to be the year of our peak of our cycle, which of course is all out of whack now from COVID there. So let's take a quick peek at the last graphic here. This is back on market data. It really feels like we're seeing a lot of homes come back on the market this year. However, during the month of October, we actually saw the least number of homes that actually came back on the market in the month of October, going back to 2017 when I started tracking this data. So things are maybe not as bad as it appears as far as sale pendings. I think it's just the fact that we're so slow that we kind of are watching the market a little bit closer. And when we start to see a couple of homes come back on the market, it just feels like there's more than maybe are. So 302 in 2020 was the top year, and frankly, a lot of that was some emotional buying, buying on the spot, maybe having a little buyer's remorse, discovering that home sellers were probably not going to do some of the repairs that would normally have been done, and that's kind of caused that year to have a little bit of a spike there. But actually, you know, things are not looking too bad for the month of October, at least in the back on market category. So now, you know, of course, I produce many more graphics each month. And we are only touching really, where is it here? This very first graphic, we really only touched that this month. Don't worry, all the graphics that I produce each month, they're currently at DesMoinesMarketValues.com. And I've actually put them in two places. I put them with this week's show. So if you go to this week's show graphics, you'll see a folder there that's called October month end. And if you actually can scroll down outside of that graphic, if you go to that folder, if you go back to Des Moines Market Values and the show graphics, you can scroll down to the month of October for 2023 and you can get the same graphics. But these are all in the show graphics for this week, as well as the graphics here that like this one and the previous ones that I showed you there. So just a reminder, please do subscribe. Hold your phone up to this graphic here. If you're watching this online, pause the video and hold your camera up to this QR code, and you can subscribe to my YouTube channel. Hey, it's free. It brings you the information each week or anytime I produce a video here. So coming off of close to, I think, 200 shows as well. So that's pretty good. That's one a week since 2020, early 2020, March of 2020. So not sure we'll do anything special with that show, but I do appreciate you watching. Next week's show is going to come to you from California. It will be at the NAR National Convention in Anaheim, and the convention actually starts on Sunday, and the bulk of it really hits starting on Monday. So I may or may not have anything really to report from the convention next week, but I'll at least be on the road out there. And the following week will certainly be a recap of the national real estate news, and maybe I'll get Dr. Lawrence Yun to take a selfie with me again this year. All right, that's the show this week. Thanks again for joining me. A reminder, go to DesMoinesMarketValues.com. As always, I appreciate your support, and we'll talk to you all again next week from California.